Washington, D.C., a city of power, secrets, and whispers. One whisper, growing louder by the day, revolved around Ilhan Omar, the firebrand congresswoman from Minnesota. It wasn't about her policies or her fiery speeches on the House floor. This whisper was about money, influence, and a web of connections that stretched far beyond the halls of Congress. The story began, as many political scandals do, with a subpoena. Federal investigators, their interest piqued by unusual campaign finance activity, had begun asking questions. They wanted to know about the dealings of a high-profile political consultant, a man known for his sharp elbows and even sharper fundraising tactics. This consultant, it turned out, had a close relationship with Congresswoman Omar, a connection that raised eyebrows and set tongues wagging. News of the investigation spread like wildfire through the city's political circles. Reporters camped outside Omar's office, their cameras flashing, microphones thrust forward, hungry for any scrap of information. Was this a case of a naive politician caught in a web spun by a seasoned operator, or was there something more, something darker at play? The answer, it seemed, lay buried beneath layers of campaign finance reports, shell corporations, and whispers of favors exchanged in smoke-filled backrooms. The consultant at the heart of the scandal was no stranger to controversy. A veteran of numerous campaigns, he had a reputation for pushing the boundaries of campaign finance law. His critics accused him of exploiting loopholes, of using his influence to steer contracts and favors to his clients. His defenders, however, saw him as a master strategist, a man who knew how to play the game and win. Ilhan Omar, on the other hand, was a relative newcomer to the world of Washington politics. Elected in 2018, she had quickly made a name for herself as a vocal advocate for progressive causes. Her sharp intellect and willingness to challenge the status quo had earned her both admiration and enemies. She was a rising star, a fresh face in a city often dominated by old men in suits. Theirs was an unlikely alliance, a pairing of political opposites, yet there they were. Their paths intertwined, their fates now linked by the unfolding scandal. The consultant had provided strategic advice and fundraising support to Omar's campaign. He had introduced her to donors, helped her navigate the murky waters of Washington politics. But was their relationship purely professional, a simple case of a consultant doing his job for a client? Or had it crossed a line, blurring the boundaries between professional obligation and personal gain? As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered a complex web of financial transactions and political maneuvering. Money, it seemed, flowed through a labyrinthine network of shell companies and political action committees, making it difficult to track its origin or its intended recipient. The consultant, they discovered, was at the center of this web, pulling strings, connecting donors with candidates, and orchestrating the flow of funds. One particularly intriguing thread led investigators to a foreign government known for its aggressive lobbying efforts in Washington. This government, it was alleged, had been funneling money to American political campaigns through a network of intermediaries, hoping to buy influence and advance its interests. The consultant, investigators suspected, had served as a conduit for these funds, using his connections to funnel foreign money into Omar's campaign coffers. The allegations, if true, were explosive. They struck at the heart of American democracy, raising questions about foreign interference in elections and the undue influence of money in politics. Was Ilhan Omar, the champion of the people, unwittingly complicit in a scheme to undermine American sovereignty? Or was she, as her supporters maintained, an innocent victim, caught in the crosshairs of a politically motivated witch hunt? The answer, it seemed, lay somewhere in the murky depths of campaign finance law, a world where transparency was often an afterthought and accountability a distant dream. The scandal shone a bright light on the often murky world of campaign finance in the United States. With each passing election cycle, the cost of running for office seemed to skyrocket, forcing candidates to spend countless hours courting wealthy donors and special interests. This dependence on big money, critics argued, had created a system where politicians were beholden to their donors, their votes and policies influenced by the desires of the wealthy and well-connected. The rules governing campaign finance were complex and often contradictory, riddled with loopholes that allowed savvy operators to exploit the system for their benefit. Super PACs, shadowy organizations that could accept unlimited donations from corporations and individuals, had flooded the political system with money, drowning out the voices of ordinary citizens. The lines between legitimate political activity and outright corruption had become increasingly blurred, eroding public trust in the political process. The Ilhan Omar case, with its allegations of foreign interference and shadowy financial dealings, threatened to further undermine public confidence in the integrity of American elections. It raised fundamental questions about who gets to participate in the political process, whose voices are heard, and whose interests are served by those in power. The scandal, it seemed, was not just about one congresswoman or one political consultant. It was about the soul of American democracy itself.